I show now a final stage in the collection of his endeavors. Years ago, the United States Congress wanted to build the National Aquarium in Washington, D.C. During the 1976 Bicentennial celebration. But Charles Eames' office should have taken care of the development of the interior of this enormous complex. Unfortunately, it had to be scratched. There was no money left. There went too much to Vietnam or somewhere else. Anyway, he built his laboratory. I think I have the feeling I showed this first. Yeah, you can see he immediately switched and changed into a man who probably seemingly all his life did nothing else but dealing with deep sea fishing and aquariums and those delicate matters. He transformed this workshop into a laboratory only for the research and study of fish and plants in this area. And then I show finally an exhibition which has been in the late 60s. Oh, I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button. So here. And this is the Nehru exhibition in memory of Nehru, which was also across the street here at the Armory building built. It was a rather interesting story, and remarkable people appeared there and became our friends, and we had it was a very, very sensitive and nice exhibition. So I have to admit, I am, for instance, a great admirer of his aerial photography. He had the same interest in airplane or in helicopters, that sort, as I have. I have to write everything what is available, and even if it is the Concorde. But it has to be. And he too. And he made many beautiful photographs. But unfortunately, I picked out 3 shots which I cannot really say that they are so extraordinary, except the subject matter which he photographed. This is my city of Rome, which I have lived for many years and know so well. I wanted to give you only, since talking about Charles is almost like talking about the evolution of the history of design in the civilized world. I have to show you 3 spots here. Just they absolutely are not part of that whole presentation, but they just became so handy that I had no hesitation to do this. This is the Ponte San Angelo, the Angels Castle in Rome, which you probably know. But that building here is the Palace of Justice in and this is gigantic building. This has an absolute superhuman scale, and when it has been built, it was considered as one of the 8, or probably the 8 wonders of the world, which could quite well live up to all those classical antique buildings. You know, this building, for instance, here, which you see in the center, was originally the mausoleum of one of the Roman emperors, and has later become a castle. In the case of this Palace of Justice in Rome, the architect was so disappointed, so dismayed, that he did something which, since I happen to have some sense for good piece of cynic, which sometimes would have been good for my beloved colleagues, he just went on the roof and jumped down because he couldn't stand it any longer. So, and whenever I'm in Rome, I always must look at that building. I cannot avoid it. But now here is the St. Peter, and here is a real. I would love to tell you a fantastic story, which is beyond my capability to understand what is in people's mind. At the same place where the St. Peter's Cathedral is today, there was originally a Roman forum, and on which also St. Peter has been crucified. And later, when during the time of the Emperor Constantine, 360 about, there have been, and the Christian faith became legalized and became a political power at this time. They decided to build a basilica there, which, according to very few documentations informed from woodcuts and so on, there was an absolutely beautiful building, as a simple basilica can be. And this building has been standing there for more than 1,000 years, I think 1180 years. And in Charlemagne has been crowned the emperor of the what was it? The East Coast. I don't know what's the name of this of the west, north of the Alps of those countries, and including Rome, has been, and everything took place in that church. And in the year 1500 so and so, a pope with a name, I forgot again. It's probably also better to what? Sixtus. Yeah. He invited all architects in the world, also Italians and French and Austrians and so on, and to participate in the exhibition, and a competition to design a new building which should be so big as if you take the Pantheon of Rome and put it on top of the Maxentius Basilica in Rome, the Constantine's Basilica, which are still standing there, and for the only purpose to create some fabulous big building. For that purpose, it didn't mean anything to tear down the only most sacred building which existed in the world, as in the Western civilization. This is what people are capable to do, and it gives us some insight into those kinds of observation which probably by the means of convenience we are inclined to say we have to honor the old and the tradition, etc., etc. Those people thought quite differently. And the last shot, which I show you here, and in this corner where I am standing, is a very contemporary remark. In this square here, this is the church Saint Jesus, the Jesuit church in Rome, which is gilded with all the gold which Christopher Columbus sent to Spain, and Spain gave to the church. You remember this is Piazza Venezia there, and on this little piazza, direct inside the center of Rome, where the greatest traffic is today, where really, this is incredible there, on this little square here, they found the car in which the body of the murdered, kidnapped Prime Minister Moro has been leaked. So this is this kind of world which we have to face, which enjoys and rejects, which loves and hates, and in which, like we all, have to manipulate and to exist. Now, this world is, of course, as we saw in this beautiful film, Power of 10, is a world which has its ups and downs, and is in the sky or on earth. It is a world of those acrobats which helps us to dream this non-gravitational life which we would like to live, and which certainly was one of those some of those desires which Charles wanted to satisfy, to be free and to fly in the very abstract and translated sense. This gives me some idea, I would say, if you permit me again to sidetrack 1 second, and this is this. I said in the beginning, mentioned those names like Gregory Ains and Norman Bruns, and those people which have been, and Herbert Matter and Betoya and Joan Entenza and so on, all the people which have given a helping hand to Charlie. There is also this, I still would like to make a remark about this man, Norman Bruns. He is an electronic engineer, or at least a man who knows more about it, as most people do. And he worked with Howard Hughes tool manufacturing company or other industries. But in recent years, he became interested in violins, in the building of violins. He told me, at least, it may be kind of wishful thinking, or it may be true. He wants to build a musical instrument with the use of scientific knowledge, scientific discovery, which would produce a better instrument as the best violin in the world could ever have produced. And and since he has some kind of radical approach to questions once he has made up his mind, so it's just by pure coincidence, he lives practically in a huge store in Santa Monica Boulevard, 2 houses from the corner from Ocean Drive Avenue, he has a store for a violin store there. His wife and he running that store. I can advise everybody to go there and see this. It's a fantastic, unreal world. You see suddenly hundreds and hundreds of violins in all prices, beginning with how much I asked him the other day. He said the cheapest is $49.99, yeah, and goes up quite high. So we have been staying there. We saw those instruments and saxophones and guitars and I don't know what, and orchestra instruments. And then we saw that we looked out the window and there was the traffic on Santa Monica Boulevard and so on. And suddenly, Mrs. Bruns, her name is Elizabeth, she just said, "Would you like to hear a piece?" And she grabbed the violin and began to play. Now, you have to transfer yourself into the environment of Southern California, or let me say Santa Monica, and the unreal traffic world and the reality inside the store, or the absolutely surrealistic environment where this beautiful person begins to play. And she played, I think it was Scarlatti or Vivaldi or I don't know what, and I have the urge to conclude my presentation, to let you join the pleasure to hear her playing. And would you mind to do so, Elizabeth? Yeah, you have to. Can you tell us how is this? How do I get this off?
I don't need it.
Sure. Okay. Anyway, I put it in here. The title of her is Johann Sebastian Bach, and the title is
Arioso.
Arioso, and ladies and gentlemen, it is played on the real Amati violin built in the 17th century at a time in which only Stradivarius may have been competitor. So she can play that instrument which she played in the store in Santa Monica now. Thank you very much.